Choices made by individuals or the circumstances they encountered led them to committing a crime and landed them in the criminal justice system. The Ministry of Justice places great value on the impact of the personal experiences of inmates and former inmates. These are their stories. What was your environment like growing up?
Well, growing up, I grew up without my mom, but I won't say like I lacked motherly love. I had a full family. Happy kid. Didn't miss nothing. Schooling was there. A little bit of anger because, you lack a parent, but no, it was normal. It was normal. It was okay.
What was your life like prior to your incarceration?
At a young age growing up, I was a star athlete. Have a reputation inside my neighborhood. I grew up in Anguilla, and over here I have a reputation as a popular kid. It wasn't really I didn't have no difficulties growing up. It wasn't no problems growing up to say. I don't see where I end up going down the road of incarceration, but yeah.
What sport did you play?
I played football, I played basketball, I played cricket, played table tennis, all around. But I marathon running is my specialty. I do long distance running, that's my specialty.
So you was a star athlete for
yes.
Marathon?
Marathons and soccer.
So concerning incarceration, at what age were you incarcerated at HVB?
At HVB I was incarcerated at 30 years of age. Oh.
So how long have you been incarcerated now?
Going 7 years.
What is at least one thing you wish you would have known before you were incarcerated?
If I could see the future, the one thing, I don't think I would get incarcerated, to be honest. But just to try avoid going to prison at a young age because it's a dangerous environment. That's the main thing, to avoid incarceration. That's the goal, because and the environment is very dangerous. It has mixed personalities. It's not everybody's on a calm, sane level or just commit a crime and come to do time to go home. It has different personalities. People break down. People get worse in prison. Some people lose responsibility and don't care about life no more in prison. It's a very dangerous place. So if I had to choose, I would try to avoid going to prison. If I could have changed stuff, I wouldn't be there. I would change time. If I could, I would change the situation that I was in. That's all I could say. Can't give no other comment for other people, how they think about it. So.
How has it been adjusting to life while incarcerated, mentally and physically?
Mentally, well, it's trying because you have to always be on your guard. You have to try to read body languages and emotions. Physically, it's up to you. You have to try bring joy to yourself. Try make opportunities for yourself. Try to pass your time. Find activities, whether it's sports, schooling, because you're in a place. Some of us who are in prison, most of us are in prison because maybe our educational level is down. We didn't take time in school. You get frustrated on the road. So in there you have another opportunity mentally to increase your mental capacity. You could go back to school. Physically, maybe you might find out you have a talent. Maybe you're a bodybuilder or a sportsman. You never really harness the effect out on the road, but in there you have time. So you could put it to use and you could see what you're really made of. Maybe you come back out. Prison is not the end of it. Me, for example, when I'm stressed, I write poetry. I'm very good at poetry. I'm featured in a book already. I use that. I speak my pain in my poems. The life I live in prison in my poems. Everybody, like I say, adapts to prison mentally and physically differently. Because it depends on the situation. If people want to harm you in prison, it can destroy your mental thinking. It can make you paranoid. It can make you more dangerous. Can make you aggressive. It depends on the personality you have with prison. Depends on how you adapt to prison. If you have a strong personality, you can survive. If you have a weak personality, it can damage you. The goal is to get out in one piece. To better yourself also. To get out in one piece is the main goal.
What has kept you going strong while in prison? Are you partaking in some of these activities?
Yeah, so right now, well, this is not my first incarceration. Like I said, I was incarcerated as a juvenile. I didn't finish school. I have a good brain. My educational background was high, but I was a little rude when I was young. I tried to get my GED. Right now I'm going for my GED. I take part in programs, maths. I'm taking part in an anger management course because I'm a person that gets pissed off a little bit fast, but I think that can help me avoid trouble in the future. So, with time you have to just see what you're lacking and if it has the necessary equipment to help you, how you say, better yourself and up your education. It's up on you, really. It all starts with you, with how you're gonna help yourself. You have to be strong enough to say, okay, I can make the first step. It's no shame in me trying to help myself. For me, trying to be the one to turn my back and walk away, trying to control my anger. It's no shame in trying to better yourself for you. Not for people, for you. There's no shame in it. You shouldn't be. So, that's how I see it.
The GED program has been reintroduced since April 2022. It is a 6-month pilot program that has been implemented to test the new and improved computer-based learning method. Contrary to what was done before with general manual books, this is a computer-based program that is tailored to the individual levels of the inmates. The inmate can log in to their personal account, and with the guidance of the GED teacher, the inmates can work on the GED subjects, which include math, language, social studies, and science. The classrooms have been outfitted with working computers, whereby the male inmates have access to 10 computers per session and the females have access to 2 computers. The inmates also receive books to work and study from during the lessons, in addition to the computer-based GED program. Overall, the experience was expressed to be a positive one by the inmates. Apart from the GED program, do you also work in the prison?
Yes, I also work in the library. I was working in the laundry, but I got a promotion. I'm working in the library now. The library is a place, give books, canteen. When your clothing comes from outside, it comes to the library and get checked, you're registered. Yeah, and we buy the food stuff. You have to read that. It's kind of like, they're reintegrating you a little bit, getting you used to, if you're not accustomed of working before prison, because perhaps you came in prison for stealing, they're trying to motivate you to find something that you like. It has different jobs, cutting grass, painting, welding. I mean, the prison has not always been up to par, but for this year, since I came back, because I was in a foreign country after Hurricane Irma, since I came back, I have seen the staff is trying to put activities and work and stuff to occupy our minds, to make us more comfortable, to prep us more for when the time comes for us on release.
So would you say the library is a good fit for you?
For me, but I like to read, so I can look for books. If I don't have no entertainment, I can find it in a book. It's like the movie is just like reading it. I just have to use my imagination. But I can talk for me. I can't really talk for the general population because it's not everybody likes to read. It's not everybody can read. It's not a shame, but it's not everybody can to enjoy the situation. Sometimes I have examples. People may be in a conversation. We're in a good conversation, but if the other person cannot grasp what we are saying, he's not going to have fun with the conversation. You understand? So it's like that prison is. You can make it fun. You can have. It's life. If you give up on life in prison, you give up on life on a whole. Life is not over because you're in prison. It's not your final destination. So if you stay focused on positive concentration, you have nothing to worry about. Just watch your road. The roads is very rough. So You just have to make the positive steps along the way to help yourself while you're going through it to get out of it. Prison.
What has been an important rule or lesson you learned while being incarcerated?
Don't trust too much people. Stay confident in yourself. Stay guarded. And like I say, try to grasp the most that you can from there to go home. I said the most important rule of all. Get home. Go home.
What have you learned about yourself since incarceration?
I didn't know I had so much patience. I'm basically me like how I am on the road. Non-nonsense, with certain people that I build a relationship with. I open up a little bit. They see my laughter and stuff, But I can't say. With prison, it's a lot. It's a lot. Prison takes a lot of joy from you too, so you don't be yourself 100 in prison. You don't actually be yourself. I like to have fun. I like to play sports, but sometimes you get in a mood. Some people, energies does stick in prison. Somebody might get aggressive out here and you can see it coming. You want to go play basketball on the court, but it has a little tension out there. And if I go out there, that guy really don't like me. I go out there, he might want to pick on me because I want to go home.
So you learn about yourself having the capacity to be patient in prison. Is this something that developed from being in prison, or just you feel like you had it and only in prison you discover that?
I never had it. I never had it. As an impatient person, I don't like to wait on people. I don't like to wait on people. When I want something done, I like it done now. Like work-wise or situation-wise, I don't like to wait. Because when you wait, stuff backs up. You never know. Maybe you wait. I'm supposed to do something for 10 o'clock. I can wait till 10 o'clock. But if you can prep it from before, it's better because you don't know what can happen after 10 o'clock. Maybe they call your daughter fall in school, you have to go. Then this is not important to me right now. My kid is more important, so I'm going to run to go help her. Situations come up, things happen. So you have to prepare yourself for anything. And prison is a place like that. You have to prepare yourself for anything because it's mixed personalities. So.
Do you think incarceration serves any good purpose?
To be honest, incarceration has purposes as in when you're there, you can find yourself. You have enough time to look at yourself. That's when you're there. Some of us, when we're out on the road, we have talents, we have skills, we have a lot of stuff we can do. We have stuff in ourselves that we don't even know is there yet until somebody else of a situation happens for it to come out. You understand? So it has its benefits, yes. I can't put it in exact words and details, but like I say, I was not a patient person. I know I have anger issues. And in prison, I'll actually say it was not the comfortable way, but I learned to control my anger to an extent. I learned to be a little more patient to an extent. So yes, it has its good and bad. Some of us, we drop out of school on the road, and just because we just ain't coping, or maybe the teacher ain't teaching us to a method, make it easier for us to understand. And you come prison, maybe you feel like, I can't read good, man. I don't want to go to that class. And then slowly but surely, something in it captures you. You start to go to school because you want to learn this. You start to read slowly but surely. You catch back up on your education. That's a benefit, a plus. Craft, talent. We start a music thing in there, so music suits the savageries. Some people never play music before, never be musicians, but they're learning keyboard, drumming, playing guitar. It's something they never do. It's a plus for them. They never thought they can do it, but they never tried it. So it has its benefits. It has its benefits.
In 2014, the 4 countries within the Dutch kingdom signed a set of mutual agreements to facilitate the transfer of inmates within the kingdom. Based on these agreements, inmates can be transferred to another country within the kingdom. That could either be due to medical reasons, security reasons, or for the purpose of resocialization of an inmate. Strict requirements and procedures apply to the transfer of inmates. Recently, the mutual agreements have been intensively reviewed by the Law Enforcement Council, and recommendations were given on how to further improve the transfer of inmates within the kingdom. The 4 kingdom countries will jointly work on the implementation of these recommendations. What do you miss the most about living outside?
Really? That's a trick question. My freedom. A lot of stuff. I'm a man. Females. And I'm doing my own stuff. I get to do everything. I'm a man, first thing first. Forgive me. Answering this is not fair, because everybody misses the freedom about outside. You do everything yourself. If you have your family, you take care of your family yourself. You have a problem, you can fix it. Your roof is leaking, you can fix it. You don't have to. If I'm in prison, I have a wife, I have kids, my roof is leaking, she cannot do construction. I am not there to fix it. So most likely, she will have to spend funds to get some repair and fix it. So the fact that I'm not there, I'm putting my family in more expense, because to maintain the house, the current, the bills, the cost of living, and still looking out for me in prison, it's an expensive stuff. So I miss women, I miss my freedom, I miss doing everything I want, when I want, how I want, everything.
Is there something in particular like you miss?
My family, I miss my family also, your family times, special occasions, Christmas, Father's Day, Mother's Day. In prison, you don't get to celebrate them like you can outside, You miss out on a lot of opportunities, special moments. If you're a family man with kids and your kids' life, their graduation, their birthdays, certain stuff you can't afford to miss. And in prison, when you do it, it breaks you down when you look at certain situations. In prison, you might have a family member you lose. While you're in prison, that's very dear to you, that strengthens your void while you're in there, helps you mentally, gives you good advice. You lose a person like that in prison, it breaks you down. So your freedom is something that you should cherish. It has a lot to miss from the outside while you're incarcerated. So.
What do you think pushes one towards a life of crime?
I won't say pushes one. Some of us, based on the environment we grew up in, the background, what we seen, we tend to adapt fast. Like, some little children might see a big brother with a gun on a normal basis, or a machete, and every time he's going out of his house, he's pushing a knife in his waist. A little brother is watching a big brother do that. Eventually, he gonna grow up wanting to do that too. That's him going down the wrong road already. Based on the examples in our household, don't get me wrong, some of us can grow up in the right household, but our friends outside, we want to be like them. We are not ourselves, we want to please other people. You understand? And pleasing other people sometimes gets us in trouble. We don't think about ourselves and what we want, what we need. You understand? And like I said, the household, the family background, the environment you grew up with plays a major role. It does. The disciplinary actions of the parent. Some parents are a little free. The child hits somebody or somebody, they'll tell the child, you don't leave, he hit you first. You automatically program your child to whenever they see somebody, hit them, hit them. That in itself is, he's gonna grow up getting into trouble. And some parents, when a teacher tries to correct their children, they self be violent with the teacher, so the child seeing that. And it starts with the household. It starts, not all the time. Sometimes it's situations. Some people will try hard and maybe they get unfair treatment and they feel like this person do it in the wrong way and they get through. And I who try in the right way, I can never get help. And maybe I should try it the wrong way too, because that's the way I could help my family. And then they do something, they adapt to the wrong lifestyle of crime, and maybe they see a profit in it in the beginning and they continue, and but it's not actually a part of them. It depends. It depends on the situation.
Aggression replacement training is an evidence-based forensic cognitive behavioral intervention training that teaches participants to respond differently than with aggressive behavior in situations where they become angry. It involves improved self-control in anger-evoking situations with pro-social behavior and moral reasoning rather than aggressive behavior. The training, which requires active participation, is provided by the Probation Department of Foundation Judicial Institute Sint Maarten to groups of 6 inmates at a time. Selection of the participants was made based on the inmates of the Point Blanche prison who are convicted of a violent crime and by means of face-to-face selection interviews by the trainers who were tasked with determining the inmates' motivation to train and cognitive capabilities for behavioral change.
Do you have any future plans upon release?
I have a lot. I came to prison, I never know how to sew clothes, like I could sew a normal needle or stuff, but I learned to thread a machine. I can make clothes from scratch. Like this shirt was made by us inmates. This whole uniform I have, we make it. This was a project shop when I first started. That's why this is my favorite shirt. I made it. Yeah, we learn talents. You understand? I never would have knew that I can be a tailor if I didn't come to prison. I would have never picked up a cloth and say, let me jump on a machine. But I needed work. I wanted to occupy myself, keep my brain full, pass my time. And the more I do it, the more I realize, okay, I have a talent here, boy. What? This is easier than, I thought only women sew clothes. And like, you know, it was funny, but at the same point in time, and then the more I do it, I do research. I realize, okay, you know, you grow up in Angola, I don't see a lot of people making clothes for little children and stuff. It's a good income. So if you master it, you can have a job self-employed. Because most people doesn't be happy to give inmates, ex-inmates a job. So I have to look for my future also. You know, I know the casinos, them that have the dealers, them that wear the vests and stuff. They are made by tailors. They are not purchased stuff in the stores. So I looked at it like, okay, I find something that I can self-employ myself. I do my poetry. You know, I write poems. I'm featured in a book by House of Nessie already. You know, I'm an electrician / plumber. So that's for the construction field, you know. I try to find certain things, the right plans, meet up on the right people in life. Never know. I have plans for my future though.
Sounds good. So that's Mr. Gomez?
Yes, yes. Carlos Gomez was my instructor. He's a very good person, a little funny sometimes, you know, with his jokes, you know, a little uncomfortable with his jokes, but when it comes to his teachings, he's very serious. He's a good teacher. Like I said earlier in the interview, I was one of them that went to Curacao for Hurricane Irma, and that's when I really harnessed the situation. I didn't have a family down there, so I started sewing and to help myself, and I became good. And I'm one of the best in the prison right now at doing what I do. And yeah.
I would have never tell that you made the shirt.
Nobody would have tell you make it. Y'all think that, you know, the prison order them, but yeah, yes, this is locally made. So
that's really good.
Future. If you want to make clothes, all right, okay. Hopefully in the next year, I start. Yeah, straight up, real talk.
Sounds good, man.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to those choosing a path of crime or currently on the path of crime?
Well, if you're a teenager or a youngster in your early 20s, I tell you slow down. Think before you make your decisions. Watch responsibilities in life. Watch your family. Don't bring your family to shame also. Be careful on the decisions. Don't grow up too fast. That's for the young people. For the older people, we need to think a little bit more before we act, because some situations are very sad. For instance, a couple of weeks ago, I heard about a young man went on another young man's job and confronted him and got shot. You understand? That is nonsense. We are young. We need to be more responsible with our lives. Avoid stupid confrontations, little problems. I don't know the background behind of it, but what our future holds, only God knows. But we can make some moves to control our future. We have the choice, so that's all I could say. We have the choice to control our decisions, so be careful, slow down, think before we act. Think before we do anything. That's my message to people, to prevent crime, to don't go down that road. It's sad, we're a small island. We live off of tourism. We don't want to have to frighten the economy to waste, so.
In an effort to protect the welfare and prosperity of the community of Sint Maarten, the Ministry of Justice strives to uphold and enforce public order, safety, security, and the law. In a bid to discourage the youth from choosing a path of crime, as Minister of Justice, I find it imperative for the various perspectives of crime to be shared. HVB UNSCRIPTED shall bring awareness of how choices directly and indirectly affect everyone.